think it's a game. And I'm really actively, if I ain't already proved to these niggas, trying to put these niggas' ass in jail.
I have finally, I told y'all when I put a nigga ass in jail, y'all gonna know. Didn't I tell y'all that? I told y'all when I put a nigga's ass in jail, hey, get on up here. I'm finna roll up a blunt. I'm on my way to the liquor store. We have an Atlanta rapper have now just been arrested for making online threats to Charleston White. We have an Atlanta rapper. He was arrested for making online threats to Charleston White. Not only that, he's a convicted felon, and he was seen in a video that he uploaded with a gun. Oh, and he's already been to federal prison. Say, I got me one, boys. Oh, I got me one, boy.
Yo. Back at it, baby. What it is. One of the realest bloggers out, you know. Back to give y'all some real information, man. We back on Charleston White. Again. You know what I mean? But I ain't doing this video like how everybody else do theirs. Nah, we ain't rocking like that. You feel me? You know, I construct my thing a little bit different. But you know, he just had this little beef with Boosie's son and T.I.'s son. And you know, one of the things that his supporters always say is, whenever you bring up the fact that he getting people arrested, they say, well, they started with him. But that's not the case here. It's starting to look like anytime he ready to do a Say Cheese interview, he got to create some type of hysteria, some type of chaos. An agent of chaos. You feel me? But I ain't really going to dig too deep into that. That is what it is. This is what he do. This is the games he play. You feel me? But with this video, because I promised him I was going to get on his heels. We're going to challenge this method, man. His message, because what made me want to do this is because, again, another Charleston White support. I leave a comment on another blogger page. Shout out to Suddy Nash. You feel me? I leave a comment on his page. Like, yo, Charles White bad for the community. So, the dude wanted me to explain it. But I ain't feel like typing everything, man. So I feel like I was just going to explain it with this.
To tell on now, motherfucker. And teach them how to fight, too. So if you fuck with them by telling, they'll kick your ass. Yeah, we need some strong snitches, nigga. And they proud of it. That way, it helped curb the violence in the communities. You got you a snitch that know how to fight, and he'll shoot that pistol too. But he'll snitch. Who can beat him? Not too many people. That's who you got to put up against. That's how you combat the gang violence. That's how you combat bullying. Hey, teacher, he picking on him. Yeah, tell it in front of everybody. He make it so he'll stop. Say he picking on him right now, teacher. It'll disrupt the class. Who doing? He here? What he doing? He just got through pinching his booty, and he told him stop, and he done it 3 times. No, that's how you break this shit up. Tell on a nigga ass. At this point in my motherfucking life, I sleep much better at nighttime putting a nigga's ass in jail than having to put a nigga's ass in the graveyard, make his mama cry. The kids ain't, but at least in jail, them kids still got access to his motherfucking ass. Matter of fact, they got more access to the nigga's ass when he in jail than when he in the free world. So yeah, it is my motto, and I'm teaching other black boys, homie, love your black brother enough to put his ass in jail. To go, T.I., you raising these kind of little yellow motherfuckers. You got a yellow motherfucker, look how your son look, talking about he'll jump on a 50-something-year-old. Yo boy, hey, so T.I., them the kind of boys you got? Say, T.I., listen, if your boy jump on me, y'all will bury that yellow motherfucker. I right in his goddamn throat. Look, I wish an 18, 19-year-old would jump on me. Boy, I Trayvon Martin, that little motherfucker. I swear to God, my right hand to God. I swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. If T.I. son jump on me, I'm on George Zimmerman and Trayvon Martin, his little mother. I'm gonna let him get on top of me. Pow! It's a new day in town, nigga. I'm the new hip-hop police, my nigga. And I'm trying hard to put at least, before I die, I'm trying hard before I die, homie, to put at least 100 rappers in jail. I got a quota I'm trying to meet. 100 rappers. Signed, unsigned, known or unknown. I just want to rap niggas' ass. This thing for these niggas is that penitentiary. Them niggas, when they come home, they go to driving trucks around the country. They try to fix the family problems. Or they barbecue on Sundays during the football games. They become loving husbands. They try to get all their kids together. No, man, that's the best thing they could have done for the black community and the hip-hop culture is arrest a bunch of them niggas.
You going to jail, nigga. Dog, you little boy going to jail. Just like your daddy. Shit, ain't going to jail. Just like your daddy went, nigga. Hell, you talking about? Them boys ain't gonna be shit. I'm talking about that goddamn little Boosie boy and that T.I. boy. They ain't gonna be shit. I hate you, Boosie. And I don't like your little ugly ass son either, nigga. Little Tootie Raw. He going to jail. Yeah, that little boy going to jail. His little bitch ass going to jail. Little Tootie Raw think he tough in the motherfucker. Boy, you little Boosie son. Little boy ain't never been slapped across his goddamn head. Boosie, your boy don't know how to fight. Neither do that T.I. little yellow motherfucker, long hair freak. That little motherfucker don't know how to fight either.
Stay. I'm writing to the parole board. Keep him. He needs 7 more motherfucking years. I sent them numbers to the FBI. And so what the FBI did, they needed probable cause. See, what niggas fail to realize, they already watching these niggas, homie. But they don't have probable cause. None of these niggas have sold drugs to an undercover agent. None of these niggas have left enough evidence for the police to come with a warrant. Once you threaten me, they now have probable cause to raid everybody associated with you niggas. I give the authorities the probable cause warrant to come hit the studio because somebody out here done threatened Charleston. So I'm telling these niggas, homie. So, homie. And then I got law enforcement buddies. So they already watching these niggas. So once they go to making phone calls saying woo, 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 well, shit, man, we got enough evidence. Let's go in here and get this. And we got a witness that's willing to come forward. And that's
so. As you heard in the opening videos and as you just heard, this is Charleston White message. Snitch, snitch, snitch. Arrest, arrest, arrest. That's his message. That's what he want to get out to the people. That's what he think is going to help the black community. And it pissed me off because there's so many people getting behind this message and they saluting it like he really saying something that haven't tried and failed. You feel me? And I want to let y'all know when I hear Charleston White say what he say, this is what I think of.
Very straightforward and simple. He knows there are 2 basic steps here. One step is you must take back the streets. And you take back the streets by more cops, more prisons, more physical protection for the people. Crime is not Democrat or Republican. Making the streets safe is not a Democratic or Republican issue. This is one of those issues I hope this passage of this bill will be taken out of the gridlock category and moved into an emerging consensus. And the consensus is as follows, and I will cease when I finish this statement. The consensus is A, we must take back the streets. It doesn't matter whether or not the person that is accosting your son or daughter or my son or daughter, my wife, your husband, my mother, your parents. It doesn't matter whether or not they were deprived as a youth. It doesn't matter or not whether or not they had no background that enabled them to become socialized into the fabric of society. It doesn't matter whether or not they're the victims of society. The end result is they're about to knock my mother on the head with a lead pipe, shoot my sister, beat up my wife, take on my sons. So I don't want to ask, what made them do this? They must be taken off the street. Is unless we do something about that cadre of young people, tens of thousands of them, born out of wedlock, without parents, without supervision, without any structure, without any conscience developing, because they literally, I yield myself 3 more minutes, because they literally have not been socialized. They literally have not had an opportunity. We should focus on them now, not out of a liberal instinct for love, brother, and humanity, although I think that's a good instinct, but for simple, pragmatic reasons. If we don't, they will, or a portion of them will, become the predators 15 years from now. And Madam President, we have predators on our streets that society has, in fact, in part because of its neglect, created. Again, it does not mean because we created them that we somehow forgive them or do not take them out of society to protect my family and yours from them. They are beyond the pale, many of those people. Beyond the pale. And it's a sad commentary on society. We have no choice but to take them out of society. And the truth is, we don't very well know how to rehabilitate them at that point. That's the sad truth. You're looking at the fellow who was one of the primary architects of the Sentencing Commission. You know what the basic premise of the Sentencing Commission is? I know the presiding officer knows. It was the first time in 80 years we rejected the notion that the condition of sentencing must be related to how long it would take to rehabilitate. I'm the guy that said rehabilitation, when it occurs, we don't understand it and notice it. And even when we notice it and we know it occurs, we don't know why. So you cannot make rehabilitation a condition for release. That's why in our system, there's the federal system, you serve 85% of your time. I remember when it was going on, when I was making these arguments in the late 70s, they used to call it Biden's same time for the same crime provision. It's a shame, but we don't know how to rehabilitate. But there is a consensus, and I will cease. A, we must make the streets safer. I don't care why someone is a malefactor in society. I don't care why someone is antisocial. I don't care why they become a sociopath. We have an obligation to cordon them off from the rest of society, try to help them, but they are in jail, away from my mother, your husband, our families. I would like to put into the record the endorsement letters from the 6 major police organizations, the Fraternal Order of Police, the National Association of Police Organizations, the International Brotherhood of Police Officers, International Association of Chiefs of Police, the National Sheriff's Association, National Troopers Coalition, and Delaware State Troopers Association, National Organization for Victims Assistance, National Victims Center, National Association for Crime Compensation Boards, and National Association of State Alcohol and Drug Abuse Directors, Incorporated. I would like to say, we would not have this bill. I've worked for 5 years in this bill with the police of this nation. Every one of those police organizations I've spoken about, their leaders have sat in my office, in my conference room, in my inner office for literally, if you add it all up, several hundred hours. We would not be here were it not for the police helping fashion this bill. And I want to pay public tribute to them now, and I would ask that the letters associated with each of the organizations I listed be entered in the record.
Now, these messages sound very similar. To me, I don't know how it sounds to y'all, but you can kind of put these messages on the same scale when they're way out. It's even. Charleston White sounds just like Joe Biden sound in 1994. And we all know how that played out. We know what mass incarceration did. We know the numbers. Look at the numbers. The numbers doubled. You follow me? The numbers is doubled. And it seemed like to me, this is what people want again. But I don't think that people remember that this didn't work. Mass incarceration didn't work. And so you got people that got the argument, it's not, they don't want mass incarceration. That's not what Charleston White's saying. Charleston White just want gangbangers and street dudes in prison. You feel me? That's what he want. But like I said before, do y'all trust this criminal justice system? Do y'all really trust these people to make the right decision? Or is they going to do what they always do? Bundle everybody up and put you in a box and label you all criminals. Because that's what they did back then. A lot of people got sent to prison for crimes they didn't commit. A lot of people fell under them 3 strikes laws and went to jail because they went to prison because they got caught with a bag of chips. Just because they committed crimes before the 3 strikes law even was intact. That's one thing people don't know. A lot of people caught charges in the 70s. Way before this bill. Now they might have been on their 2nd strike, but it wasn't no strikes back then. Now, this 94 crime bill was in effect. Say they get locked up in 95. Now they facing 45 years, 30 years. You follow me? And they might only stole a bag of chips. They might only got caught with some weed. But this is what y'all want. This is what people want. You might not say this verbally, but if you heard Charleston White's message, this is what he wants. And if you back him, you must want the same thing. But y'all must don't remember this.
A very high rate of incarceration, historically, comparatively. And the other thing is the rate of incarceration is so high, so socially concentrated, that we're no longer incarcerating the individual, but we're incarcerating whole social groups. The rate of incarceration now is about 5 times higher than it was historically. Historically it was 100 per 100,000. Now it's about 500 per 100,000. If we look at prison, if we add jail to that, it's about 700 per 100,000. Nowhere in the world incarcerates as much as we do. We've seen extremely high rates of exposure to the criminal justice system for African American men with very low levels of schooling. So if we think about black men who were born in the late 1970s and who are growing up through the American prison boom of the 1980s and the 1990s, the chances that they're going to serve time in state or federal prison if they dropped out of high school is about 70%. So going to prison for that group of black men with very low levels of schooling, that's become a normal life event. And that's really only happened in the last 10 years. We're at this point now where there's about 1.2 million African American children with a parent who's incarcerated. That's about 1 in 9. The research shows the kids who experience parental incarceration have diminished school achievement, they have behavioural problems, depressive symptoms, acting out. And there's also evidence that these kinds of negative effects associated with parental incarceration are concentrated more among boys than among girls. And there's a very real risk here that incarceration becomes an inherited trait. The underlying issue is we've chosen prison as a way to respond to that problem of crime. And there are a whole variety of ways that we could have chosen to respond to that problem of crime. We've chosen the response of the deprivation of liberty. And we've chosen the response of the deprivation of liberty for a historically aggrieved group whose liberty in the United States was never firmly established to begin with.
It terrorized our families, broke them up completely. So when you get to talking about locking people up, you got to realize some of these people that y'all referring to got kids. So when you essentially take them out the house, or take them away from their children, all you're doing is repeating the cycle. Because the chances are that this child is going to get caught up in the same system because they don't have that fatherly guidance. Now, I'm not for senseless crimes at all. I speak out boldly against it. Some of these things that people doing need to be punished. But it's not everything. You feel me? Because you can't talk about crime and talking about arresting people when you're not talking about the economics that leads to crime. And that's what Charleston White don't do. You feel me? He don't talk about what leads to crime because that's what matters. Because though mass incarceration was a thing, crime went down, but it still devastated our communities. We didn't come up no better. Not economically. It can be a case made that we getting worse. far as home ownership and the median income. A case can be made that we was doing better back then. So yo, when y'all get to talking this Charleston White stuff and get to saluting this man and praising his message, yo, like, know what you talking about, man. And ask yourself, after you've seen this, is this really what you want? Because Charleston White thinks that locking black men up is the way to freedom. He thinks that's the way to improving our community. So when you backing him and you saluting him, you're basically saying the same thing. But after saying this, I think you need to ask yourself a serious question. Is this really what you want? Because we've seen this before. We know how this play out. And I don't think it's a recipe for success.
But we would be absolutely stupid as a society if we didn't recognize the condition that nurtured those folks still exist.